I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Maybe long, maybe short, but I do want to talk about this. I haven't done a video like this. Let me preface it by saying this. Believe it or not, YouTube is the one social media platform that has not suspended me or banned me or anything like that. I have had individual videos demonetized, and I've absolutely been deboosted, if you will. I know half of my content doesn't even get to my goddamn subscribers, but I haven't been, for the most part, I do my manual reviews to get remonetized, and they always accept them for the most part. Not always, but for the most part, they do. And in comparison to Facebook, which I've served 30-day bans and suspensions for, as well as Twitter. My last run-in with that infamous chick that had me mass reported. And I was off of there for a little bit until they correct the goddamn problem. And Instagram, as soon as I got on there, they banned me from there and I had to get reinstated. So this has been the most lenient. YouTube has been the most lenient for me. But this is something that I know a lot of people are cringing at. So we're going to talk about it. It's titled, this is a new blog released today, Wednesday, June 5th, 2019. Over the past few years, we've been investing in the policies, resources, and products needed to live up to our responsibility and protect the YouTube community from harmful content. This work has focused on 4 pillars: removing volatile content, raising up authoritative content, reducing the spread of borderline content. And for those that don't know what this is, they say we'll begin, this is in a previous blog, to that end, we'll begin reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming that the earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11. So that's sort of what they consider borderline content. Rewarding trusted creators. Thanks to these investment, videos that violate our policies are removed faster than ever, and users are seeing less borderline content and harmful misinformation. As we do this, we're partnering closely with lawmakers. This is the part that bothers me. We're partnering closely with lawmakers and civil society around the globe to limit the spread of violent extremist content online. Now, granted, that sounds a little bit specific, violent extremist content. So hopefully it's limited to that, but I don't like any, but you Google, I know this isn't the first time doing this, working with lawmakers, that just sounds like a terrible idea. But it says we review our policies on an ongoing basis to make sure we are drawing the line in the right place. In 2018 alone, we made more than 30 policy updates. One of the most complex and constantly evolving areas we deal with is hate speech. I would agree with that. We've been taking a close look at our approach towards hateful content in consultation with dozens of experts. Experts are never the experts in subjects like violent extremism, supremacism, civil rights, and free speech. Based on those learnings, we are making several updates. So they've consulted with these guys. I'm more than sure all of these guys are leftists. Civil rights and free speech, that says leftism right out the get-go, right? When I start hearing some of these buzz terms thrown out there. But this is what they plan to do. Removing more hateful and supremacist content from YouTube. So, blah, 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 blah. The step dramatically reduced views. They're talking about this rules of the road back. And here we go. Today, we're taking another step in our hate speech policy by specifically prohibiting videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion based on qualities like age, gender, race, caste, religion, sexual orientation, or veteran status. That is not a good policy. Because think about this. Let's think about this. Sorry, my email is going. So I've never liked the term hate speech because it's a meaningless term. It's a very subjective term, and that's why it's meaningless, right? So superior, and the funny thing is, they're talking about exclusion, right? We don't like this, and that's literally what they're doing to their platform, which they have a right to do. Remember, I'm one of those guys that says discrimination is just, is not a term to be demonized. By literal definition, every single individual in this world discriminates in some way, shape, or form, be it in friendships, be it in business, be it in whatever. Every single individual discriminates. There are certain people that you certainly, and they have prejudice, certain people that you prefer over others. We do this held by way of YouTube in terms of who we subscribe to, in which we're literally discriminating on certain other content creators is what we do. We say, hey, this content creator puts out this type of shit. We don't like them. And some of that stuff may be based on religion or sexual orientation, gender especially. Some guys may be like, I don't want to hear this shit from a woman, and vice versa. I mean, when you're talking about hair products and makeup and stuff like that, I know my lady's going to prefer to look at, some chick doing her thing, that same similar hairstyle, something like that as her, not some dude that looks like me, right? So, or looks similar to me, which that's a very hard thing to do. But that's all I'm saying. So this already happens. There's no way to avoid this veteran status. Like it almost sounds like if you take issue with somebody based on these characteristics, right? And you make content based on that, you risk having some sort of hate speech or something like that. And that's, to me, is a problem, because like definitely when you say veteran status, like what does that mean? Does that mean my videos that are heavily critical of the military and their involvement in foreign affairs and war efforts and stuff like that, is that constitute as hate speech? We'll never know. Finally, we will remove content denying the well-documented violent events like the Holocaust, or Holocaust deniers and Sandy Hook truthers, if you will, are getting fuck off the shit. So there's that. Recognize some of this content has value to researchers and NGOs looking to understand hate in order to combat it. And we are exploring options to make it available to them in the future. So basically, hey, we'll get it off of there, but we'll send it to you, is what it sounds like. And as always, context matters. So some videos could remain up because they discuss topics like pending legislation aiming to condemn or expose hate or provide analysis of current events. We will begin enforcing this updated policy today. However, it will take time for our systems to fully ramp up, and we'll be gradually expanding coverage over the next several months. So this doesn't really salvage it. I know they're saying like, basically like aim to condemn or expose, hey, basically saying, hey, if we put you on blast and say that we hate the haters, we'll leave you up. If you, or more so, you that's fine. Just got to be condemning them when you bring them up. You can't just bringing them up objectively, and you damn sure can't be taken aside. Reducing borderline content and raising up authoritative voices. This is some of the stuff they were talking about up there. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks to this change, the number of views this type of content gets from recommendations has dropped 50%. So they're talking about misinformation, promoting phony miracle, flat earthers, serious illness, and all that stuff. So they got that up out there. Is you're not going to see it in recommendations and stuff like that. Continuing to reward trusted creators and enforce our monetization policies. I wonder if it's coming, because this sounds more like a direct response to the thing that's happening with Crowder and that dude over at Vox, I believe, that is a nutcase, certainly, who he's trying to guilt trip people into basically getting somebody he dislikes in Steven Crowder off of YouTube. This is how the leftists operate. Finally, it's critical that our monetization systems reward trusted creators who add value to YouTube. We have long-standing advertiser-friendly guidelines that prohibit ads from running on videos that include hateful content, and we enforce those rigorously. And in order to protect our ecosystem of creators, advertisers, and viewers, we tightened our advertising criteria in 2017. In the case of hate speech, we are strengthening enforcement of our existing YouTube Partner Program policies. Channels that repeatedly brush up against our hate speech policies will be suspended from the YouTube Partner Program. It's funny, a guy that I know within the libertarian community, Fort Fisher, all he does is go around filming basically events and stuff like that. That's his thing, the news to share thing, and they've demonetized his entire page. He was part of this purge. YouTube can't write use monetization features like Super Chat. The openness of YouTube's platform has helped create What? The openness of YouTube's platform has helped creativity and access to information thrive. I disagree with that. I don't think they've been as open as they like to believe, certainly not in recent years. It's our responsibility to protect that and prevent our platform from being used to incite hate, harassment, discrimination, and violence, which again, they're literally discriminating, which is their right to do, and owning this platform. But so I really despise when people use this term as a demonized term because they think that it means, okay, I don't like you because you're black. Like, yes, that can be discrimination, but discrimination itself, by literal definition, every single individual, there's not an individual in this world that looks at everybody the same, period. No matter how many people try to virtue signal online, everybody discriminates. We are committed, literally YouTube is discriminating by getting these types of people off of their channel. That's literal discrimination. We are committed to taking the steps needed to live up to this responsibility today, tomorrow, and in the years to come. Okay. So basically just tightening up policies. I want to say this. I'm gonna be completely honest, right? I'm being completely honest. The whole reason why my efforts at the beginning of the year was centered around expanding my reach in terms of different platforms that I'm on was because that I don't see the type of, when you talk about the material that I talk about, which isn't even controversial in that sense. I just don't take a popular position, right? A leftist, standard leftism position of a lot of content creators. It's inevitable that I can piss off the wrong little policy expert that they have over at YouTube, and my shit gets either demonetized or worse, I get suspended. Unfortunately, I see that as a realistic thing that can happen in the near future. Not because I'm inciting hate or anything like that. I have so many people that like my channel of many different backgrounds, and I love you all to death. But I'm realistic about this. This is why, even though with my channel being recently deboosted in terms of what it feels like, my material does not get out to my subscribers. You don't ever hear me bitching about that. You don't, because it's an expectation that I do not present neutral content. It's not neutral by any means, and I don't present content that is of the narrative, right? Where if I did that, I don't think I'd be having these problems. But because that's not the case, here we are. So I anticipate that at some point in time, this channel will be demonetized. Not because I'm inciting hate. It's just because hate speech is it's a term that's meaningless. And it just depends on what the person, screw the algorithm. I mean, that in itself is one thing. But, what the person that's reviewing my shit is more how they feel. I dealt with that with Twitter. Remember that? Where I had the literal thing that got me suspended from Twitter. The literal, I shit you not. I have email proof of this. And I think I put this in my video. Where they suspended me for a tweet that literally the minute before I got suspended, I got a notification from YouTube saying that they had reported this specific tweet and they found nothing wrong with it. And then later I got suspended for the same exact tweet. So that's in itself telling me that two people at least are not on the same page. Let me turn my desk phone off. They're not on the same page. So who's to say that that's not going to happen to me on YouTube? It very well can happen to me on YouTube. And yes, I do have a desk phone, by the way. I like to separate my work from my cell. So I'm here. And I have my desk phone on and I turn it off once I start doing other stuff. I go out and stuff. But yeah, nonetheless, who's to say that's not going to happen? Because it very well might. So this is why I spent the beginning of this year, I even held off finishing up my mixtape and finishing up this Backwards album, which I know a lot of people aren't happy about that, to get my website launched, which is live, ericdjuly.com, podcast, and start other things. So, okay, you guys can see me in other places because this isn't going to last forever. It's just the reality of the situation. I say things that shouldn't be controversial, but are seen as controversial among the individuals that I know are gonna get offended. And all it takes for somebody to be like, you know what? Fuck this guy. And then my channel's either fully demonetized or something like that. So I encourage you all to go see the vast amounts of things that I'm on. Visit my website, ericdjuly.com. You know, For Canon's Sake podcast is live at all major digital platforms. Go listen to it. Always give it a click. And yeah, Patreon, I'm over there. I'm over at so many different areas where you all can support me and find my shit. Because it's only a matter of time before somebody says, hey, man, that shit's hate speech. We taking your shit down. This is why I don't bitch. It's their right to do that. Absolutely. I know contractually they need to be more clear about it, because it's like, yeah, you can do this, but in the same respects, if I sign a terms of service or something like that, or I agree to it, it doesn't need to be vague and it needs to be understood. And there needs to be some sort of medium where we help each other out, right? The content creators does help YouTube make money from the advertisers and so forth. And that's how we make money and all of that as well. And because there's some sort of some contractual obligations there, they need to honor that, right? It's from a just straight up, it's contractually obligated. So I do believe, and they've done better jobs of this, YouTube, and trying to connect with a lot of content creators. They're still not as good as they need to be. There needs to be people live at all times to be able to answer people when they have questions, and they need to be clear. They need to have individuals that are clear, would say, you violated this specific rule when you said this, and this is why. They need to do a better job of doing that. But they do have a right to make those rules nonetheless. So this is why I don't be going, crying about things that I already expect to happen. That's how it works. What do you guys think, man? I already know people that have had their shit purged. Again, the dudes over there at News to Share, they cover everything, leftist marches, you name it. Doesn't that matter? Their job, they're reporters in a sense. They go and document this shit. They film it so you guys can see what's really going down. And they got their shit demonetized. So they were part of the purge, and they're not inciting hate or anything like that. So again, it's only a matter of time, but maybe it's me. What y'all think? Y'all be easy, man.